Hey guys, today in the shop we're going to be starting on the compound turbo build on the race truck. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're back, and I know it's been a little while since I've uploaded, but had a little bit of a busy spring and late winter, and finally ready to get back after this thing. Fortunately, because the race truck is really needed some love. I haven't really been out here doing too much on it, and it's feeling kind of neglected, so we're going to get back on it. In one of the last videos we did, we had that KC Turbo DIY kit, and I kind of hinted towards the fact that that was a little bit of a precursor to getting the compound kit going on this truck, and I really wanted to build one on my own. There's a lot of great kits on the market, but to be honest with you, for me, it wasn't in the budget, so I wanted to go ahead and build it myself. We're going to start off with the factory VG Turbo in the Valley, and we're going to use a clone S475, and eventually we'll upgrade that clone S475 to something a little bit better with a billet wheel and everything, but for right now, 650 horsepower reliably with some 190/30 injectors, and I think this thing should go pretty good. So let me show you what I'm at so far. I did a little bit of work off camera, got started on it, and then we're going to get right into the build. All right, so as you can see, I've kind of already started digging into this. I got the batteries out on both sides. I got some of the intercooler piping off, and I have the turbo compressor housing off. So my goal here was a lot of the kits, the downpipe has to go out through the fender well. There's been a few other guys that have done it the way I'm doing it. I think Power Driven Diesel has done it. They might even be coming out with a kit this way. I'm not quite sure, but like I said, I wanted to build my own. But what I really want to do is have the exhaust go right in the factory downpipe location. So as you can see, for right now, I have the 4-inch aftermarket downpipe unbolted from the back of the turbo, and I just have it spun clocked this way. And what I'm going to do is, it's a little tight in here, but I'm going to have a nice sharp turn come right off of the turbo, and then that'll come up and it'll come right to the inlet of the S475, and then we'll have the downpipe from the S475 come right into the factory downpipe. I also am going to have both pipes come this way. So I'm going to have off the compressor on the Valley Turbo is going to come around between the alternator, and then it's going to come right down into the intercooler right here. So I want to do that, and then I want to have the compressor off of the atmosphere turbo come right up and then go around this way. I had the IPR oil cooler set up that was over here. I have this turned because I'm thinking that I'm going to mount the oil cooler over on that side of the truck. So I got a little bit of messing around to do, a little bit of thinking, and I still have a little bit more room to make in this truck. And one of the first things I want to do is I'm going to do a fuel bowl delete. So I've kind of decided with the fuel system, I already have an air dog, and the air dog has an internal regulator. So I want to eliminate the factory fuel system, and I'm just going to go with a deadhead style system. I know that regulated return is really the way to go, but I think with a 190/30 will be more than fine with a deadhead system. And I just got some nice AN lines that are going to feed the front of the head, and they're going to go up, and they're going to Y over here, and then I'll feed right from the air dog to that fuel system. So let's start by getting this oil filter housing out, delete the fuel system, the fuel bowl, the regulator, and the fuel lines that go to the front of the head. So there's a couple of ways you can do this, whether you're doing a system like me or you're doing like a regulator return with a fuel bowl delete. You can use the factory 6-liter oil filter housing and just cut this off right here. Or you can get a 6.4 oil filter housing, which is a 6-liter housing that just doesn't have this fuel filter housing on it. So for now, I'm just going to cut this off. I'm not going to go too crazy cleaning it up and make it look nice, because I'm probably just going to buy a brand new 6.4 one so I can get it powder coated or whatever, and I don't really have to worry about all this grease and oil on here. I mean, yeah, I could wash this one and spend my time and clean it up, but honestly, the amount of time it's going to take me to clean this thing up and make it look nice, these housings are so cheap to just get a brand new one for a 6.4 that's probably the route I'm going to go. Either way, I'm going to get this cut off so I can get this bolted on and start mocking everything up and building the compound kit. So you just take a Sawzall, being careful not to cut in any of the mounts or the housing, and just chop it off right there. All right, so like I was saying, I really want to get this turbo kind of in this location right here, and I want to have everything feed back that way. So I'm going to make a bracket off these two alternator bolts right here. And hopefully that'll keep the turbo tucked back at the proper angle. As you can see, I took all that fuel system out and I just kind of started routing these fuel lines here. I used a 12 by 1.5 90 to -6 JIC, and that's going to go right up to this line right here. I know it all seems tight in here, but there's plenty of clearance. I mean, as you guys know, some of this stuff is tight from the factory anyway, so I'm going to use this bolt with the factory fuel line bolt hole, and I'm going to make a little standoff to keep that fuel line clear and everything here, and then kind of go from there. The other thing I did is on the driver's side, there's this little plug on an 03 valve cover at least. I took that plug out and put it where the oil fill would normally be, so that plugs that up. And then on the driver's side, this is where that plug would be. I just put the oil cap here. So should be able to fill the oil from right here, and it shouldn't be a huge deal. Might need to use a little funnel or whatever, but plenty of room there. As you can see, I freed up quite a bit of room over here with that fuel bowl gone. So next thing is just going to be mounting this turbo up. Try to get a good angle on it, kind of aim it at that downpipe right there, straight shot as best as I can, and then we'll go from there. All right, so it's all mounted up, and as you can see, this is almost a perfectly straight shot from the exhaust housing to the downpipe. It's a little tight. I'm gonna have to go, around the AC box a little bit. There's some stuff that I have to move, obviously glow plug module and all that stuff can't be mounted there anymore. I'm gonna extend the harness for that. I was a little bit worried about this being this close to the alternator, but I think with some good heat shielding and everything, this should be perfectly fine. But this is kind of my little bracket. I wanted to make sure it all fit, then I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to kind of clean all these up and support it underneath the bottom so it doesn't bounce. I mean, it's pretty solid, but with this engine vibrating and everything around, it's obviously, the more you can do to make this rigid, the better. Aside from that, I think my next step is just going to be make this pipe that goes from the turbo, as you can see I got that V-band on, and then have that come right around through here and then down to there, and then I think I'm going to wrap up for the day. But I think this is a pretty solid start on this compound kit, and I don't know, I'm happy with the way it's looking. Fits really good in here. There's going to be a ton of room for a nice air filter. Sometimes some of these other kits are real close. You get the real stubby air filter. I don't love it, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm not sure yet. These are the hoses for the coolant filter kit. I might move this over to that side. Haven't decided yet. I don't know if I run it this way. I'm obviously going to have to put some kind of heat shielding over the hoses because they're going to run right over this interstage hot pipe, and there's going to be quite a bit of heat on this side. I already checked. I believe this is a Vibrant Elbow. It's pretty cool. It's T6 to 3-inch. I checked. I have plenty of clearance on the hood. That's not a problem at all. So I don't know. I like it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going to get to work on this hot side intercooler pipe and go from there. So overall, I think I made some pretty good progress on this. Feels good having the turbo mounted and kind of get a really good idea of where everything's going to be routed and kind of a game plan on what the next steps are. And I think it's ultimately going to be a pretty nice setup. Like I said, I'm shooting for around 600, 650 horsepower. Now, some people will say you can accomplish that with just a single non-VGT in the valley, and you absolutely can. But with this being a stick truck and the kind of driving that I want to do with it, I really wanted to have the stock turbo in the valley for that quick spool, and then have something like an S475 as the atmospheric turbo. And what that should do is kind of give the best of both worlds. We'll get the quick spool and the pretty big horsepower number. 600 to 650 isn't really a whole lot for these trucks as far as what they're capable of, but you also have to remember that this is a short bed, regular cab, two-wheel drive, manual transmission truck. So 600 to 650 horsepower in this thing should really get up and go pretty good. So I think I'm going to leave it off at there. I hope you guys liked what we got so far. If you have any ideas or anything that you think that you see that I just maybe didn't think of, drop it down below in the comments, and we're going to keep going. I'm going to get a few more parts for the fuel system. I'm going to order up some more pipe to get that hot side done. And hopefully next time you see me, we get the turbo kit all built out and back purged, welded. Everything should be good to go, and we'll start working on injectors and hopefully get this thing running again. As always, guys, subscribe if you like this. If you haven't already, hit that like button, and thanks for watching In the Shop.